Okay, what up, virtual people? Welcome to episode 85 of VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2022. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
Merry holidays, everybody.
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, the third leg of our VCR tripod himself, Mac Daddy Mickey Torres, is back on the show.
Mickey!
What's up, everyone?
And finally making her VCR return, she is a multi-talented tour de force of writing, acting, directing, producing, publishing, and journalism, where she has covered everything from 112 to The Walking Dead and everything in between. She was recently featured in woman-to-woman-talk.com's Women of Color in Public Relations and Media That Slayed 2022. And on top of all that, she just happens to be one of my favorite people on earth. Tammy Reese is finally back on the show.
Hey. Welcome back, Tammy.
Thank you so much for coming on. We are here today to lasso the moon, wish for $1 million, and to bring the world another Capra-ass Christmas. That's right, folks. This world needs It's a Wonderful Life 2 Annihilation, and we're here to give it to you. But before we can ring the bell to give Ian his VCR wings, we need to talk about how It's a Wonderful Life came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching the live chat as well. Was it Love at First Laserdisc, a Vital VHS? Hit us up in the live chat and let us know how It's a Wonderful Life came into your lives. So, Tammy, do you remember the first time you watched It's a Wonderful Life?
I don't quite remember the first time I watched it. I just remember being a young kid and my mom introduced me to it and just feeling like a sense of hope from watching this movie at a young age, and a sense of community and resilience and responsibility and the value of friendships and family and sacrifice. So I don't remember when, but I remember how it made me feel for sure.
I feel like none of us are going to really remember the first time we saw this movie, because
I do.
we all grew up in, at least most of us grew up in a time when this movie was like the movie that was on a loop. Like the way they do A Christmas Story on TNT, this was It's a Wonderful Life for like decades. They just showed it over and over and over. They showed it in black and white, then they'd show it in color, then they'd show it in black and white, and they'd show it in color. It was just like this weird loop. But Ian, Mickey, do either of you guys remember the first time you watched It's a Wonderful Life?
I don't, honestly, it's like you said, it was on TV, like AMC or something like that. Some holiday, late night. It was probably the first time I saw it. Yeah.
See, I thought maybe this was Mac Daddy Mickey Torres when I was on a date back in the theatrical run or something like 80s re-release.
No,
it's always it's the rare time it's not an
19...
HBO movie or a date for Mickey,
What Mickey's dating in 1947? Like, it's not that old. Like, good lord.
Exactly.
I'm just teasing. All right, Professor, tell us about the first time you watched Mr. Capra's Christmas classic.
I remember every time my first time watching it. So I did not watch this until I was 18 years old.
What?
Right? I did for because here's the thing. I'm a minister's son, right? I'm a PK, right? Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, all this stuff, it's business in our house. It's not, getting jammies and getting photographs and hot cocoa. No, my dad's at the church. We have to go to church. We have to do all this. I mean, so like sitting on New Year's Eve to watch It's a Wonderful Life on NBC was not, there just wasn't time. Right, so I'd never seen it.
I forgot they used to do it on NBC a lot too.
It was NBC. Yeah. It was NBC. It's always been NBC. Yeah.
Okay. It makes sense because back in the day I only had like 4 channels. It had to be one of those.
Actually, before you continue, it just came to me. Now I remember vividly. So I watched this on Fox before Fox was Fox. Before Fox was Fox, it was just Channel 5. It was a local channel, whatever case it may be. And they would play nothing but black and white movies and stuff like that. You would have
like public domain movies.
Yeah,
and shit.
You would have Kung Fu Theater too. You would have Godzilla's. You would have all that stuff. So I saw this on that.
Kung Fu Theater, dude. Oh shit.
But I don't remember. I was so young when I saw it that I don't remember if I ever really completed it or what. And then years later, further down the road is when I kind of remember watching it again on like AMC or something like that.
It's funny, as you're saying this, it's coming back to me how every year I go to rewatch this movie and I realize I don't own it and I have to stream it somewhere. You know, I always think I own this and I go to like my like old classic
Yep.
section, like my old classic shelf. I'm like, oh, I have Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I have like Meet John Doe. I don't have It's a Wonderful Life. What the hell's wrong with me?
I have
But I'm
Breakfast
sorry.
at Tiffany's, but I don't have this.
Oh, ooh, wow. Breakfast at
That's
Tiffany's.
random, Mickey. Random.
I love Breakfast at Tiffany's.
So I'm
Hey,
sorry, Ian.
hey,
We hijacked your story.
We all like Breakfast at Tiffany's. In fact, I said we both kind of liked it. So, you know.
So 18-year-old Ian sees it for the first time.
So I had to, on Christmas Day, work at Movie Gallery. And I remember, like, I had to be there. Movie Gallery opened at 10 a.m. on Christmas Day. Now, I knew there was going to be nobody renting movies at 10 a.m. at Movie Gallery. They wouldn't. I knew they'd be there that night, right? So I asked my boss, Nancy. I said, Nancy, because the rule at Movie Gallery, you could not watch anything other than the pre-made like mixtape that they had of movie trailers and all the stuff that was on a loop on the TV screens. I said, Nancy, there's going to be nobody here on Christmas Day. Can I play something? And I give Nancy credit. She goes, I usually don't allow this, Ian, but you're here on Christmas Day. Play whatever you want. It just has to be PG. That was her only thing. She goes, it has to be PG. So I said, you know what? I've never watched It's a Wonderful Life. So I played It's a Wonderful Life at 18 years old in Movie Gallery by myself on Christmas Day. And it was the best time ever watching It's a Wonderful Life.
That does sound like a really good time.
It was.
I mean, I would have been depressed, but
nah, man. I was at Movie Gallery. I was surrounded in a sea of movies, Mickey. Come on, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
The world was my oyster, and I went to that seafood buffet.
When did the first customer come in?
I literally think it was like 5 o'clock at night. So
wow. So did you watch this movie on a loop, or did you just watch it one time and then you switched to another movie?
I do actually. I don't remember, but I want to say I probably watched Christmas Carol with Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
I think I played that one. But
that is an interesting.
It was either that or Christmas Story. No, I remember now. It was Christmas Story. I actually played a Christmas Story after It's a Wonderful Life. But yeah, first customer 5 p.m. Then it was. I mean, then there was a bunch of people. You know, this is in the movie rental days, man. People are there.
And you were open the whole like normal time. You opened like till 10 o'clock at night, whatever there was.
10 a.m. till 10. Yep.
Wow.
That is intense.
Was this by the gas station where you got the pizza from too?
Yeah. But I'm sure that gas station was open. I cannot lie.
The wrath of Ian and his gas station pizza. The legend of this will never die on VCR Redux. Before I get into my story, let's see what the people in the live chat are saying. Of course, I see Miyagi Do Forever in there, Meg Klink in there. I believe that's Mama Klink.
Hi, Mom.
Merry Christmas, Mrs. Klink. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mikey Riff Raff, Mashup Genius himself, says, "What's up, Smokey? Merry Christmas, everyone." Sean Gold, the Gold Man himself of Gold's Code, says, "Just remember that every time Ian badmouths Airborne, an angel gets its wings."
Then heaven is filled with winged things because that movie is the worst thing ever. So
it is life, and you're just giving more skaters their blades. Still says Mickey, always know that no man is a failure who has friends. I see Mikey River says, I saw it on TV and didn't understand what the point of it was or the meaning of it until I was older.
What
you can get, and you know, it's not for every. It's kind of like, I get it. When you're a little kid and you watch some old movies, like you're just like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna put Cheetos down the fucking air conditioning vent because I'm not paying attention. You know,
it's definitely not something when you're a little kid that you actually like. This movie will go over your head completely.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if this is the thing, if you don't pay attention to it, then yes, it'll totally fucking go over your head. But I feel like,
let me ask you guys this: do you all think, if you really look at the structure of It's a Wonderful Life, don't you think it's kind of a weird movie?
No,
it's like,
not at all.
well, here's what I mean. No, I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. This is like the best. I watch it every Christmas. I actually show my students.
I think I know
year.
what Ian's gonna say because I've written.
But it's
Ian,
like,
so
yeah. Here's the thing. It's like a straight Frank Capra love story for, an hour and 45 minutes. And at minute 45 of the second hour, all of a sudden you get this Twilight Zone thing that happens out of nowhere. And this little mini, I've talked about this a lot with my students. It's like the structure,
the structure is crazy.
It's so unique that it's kind of like, it's almost like it's two movies.
For sure.
I could understand. I could always understand if they started off where he's at the bridge, and it's like, let's look at your life, and now let's look at your life if you don't have a life in Bedford Falls. Like that,
like it should have started like with the suicide attempt at first,
and not at the end.
Yeah,
you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that back in the day, though. You could do that in the 40s,
Well, talking about suicide in general was
a little, yeah. I mean, but that's a weird thing. So it's like if they Pulp Fiction this a little bit, it always would make sense to me. But that's what my students always tell me when I show them this. They're like,
you sound like Ted Turner right now. They're like, if they re-edit this, it might meet my standards. It's like one of the greatest movies ever made.
Ted Turner, let's colorize this movie. Nobody's gonna watch black and white. But that's what I've always felt with It's a Wonderful Life, is just the structure is so odd, but it works. It is it works.
It is, but I feel like the I don't want to say it, like the increased length of the movie, because it is long for a movie of its time.
Oh, but but it's like
because of that, like they don't waste any of that time. That's the thing with this movie, is like everything, it's got one of those like really nearly perfect screenplays that, like, in Back to the Future, like, is a great example of a movie that's like heavily inspired by Frank Capra and It's a Wonderful Life, and like the whole like Biff horrific thing, that's just Pottersville. And Back to the Future too, like there's a lot of things they just plonk right out of this movie, and a million other movies borrow from this. Like I was even watching it again last night. I was like, oh my God, Copland stole the whole like 1 year thing from It's a Wonderful Life. Like Stallone can only hear out of the 1 year.
They did.
They totally fucking did. And he got, how did he lose it? Saving someone else's life who was under fucking water. The only difference was the lake wasn't frozen. It wasn't his little brother.
Even the dance, like the dance when they're doing the Charleston like competition or whatever like that, reminds me of like Dirty Dancing. Reminds me of like, Silver Lining Playbooks. Reminds me of like any of She's All That, all like the dance scenes and stuff like that. It just reminds me of that. That came from all those to me is like, oh man, this is like the first thing that did this big dance like kind of thing that I can remember.
Well, what I also found interesting, when they released It's a Wonderful Life, they released it in the summer. Did y'all know that?
No.
Really? I did not know that.
The studio thought this was going to be the worst movie ever. They knew they weren't going to make money, so they dumped it in August.
Wow.
And of course,
even in the 40s, they were doing that. That's hilarious.
It could be why it bombed. Yeah.
Well, it did. I mean, here's this is why I love It's a Wonderful Life. It's not just the movie; it's the story behind the movie that I find fascinating. Basically, at one point they forgot in 20 years. So I believe it was around the 70s. They didn't renew the copyright for the film. Now they renewed the copyright for the screenplay. And that'll come into play in a second here, but let me give you a little lecture here. So in 1970s, they didn't renew the copyright for the actual film. So movies, like any TV station, when they had their little free time to do whatever, well, they put on It's a Wonderful Life at Christmas time because they could run it as many times as they wanted to. So what ended up happening, the reason why people loved It's a Wonderful Life is only because it kept being on all the time. So college students would watch It's a Wonderful Life, 12 days in a row, because that's all that was on TV. You had the 5 channels, so So It's a Wonderful Life started to build this reputation because of the public domain. And then NBC started to play it because it was so popular. And over time, it just became a thing. But in the 90s, Jimmy Stewart actually, on behalf of the whole group, he actually sued sued to basically get the movie back its copyright.
And that's when they stopped playing it on TV all the time.
That's why, because that lawsuit actually made it so it protected the script, so therefore it wasn't public domain. So that's why you only see it on NBC. But for all those years in the 80s and the 70s, all this stuff, you would just watch It's a Wonderful Life on PBS, NBC, ABC. All these channels would play. Even cable would play It's a Wonderful Life. So it's actually the best thing that ever happened to It's a Wonderful Life is the fact that it went into public domain and nobody made money off of it, but it became a classic. So kind of that same thing with like Night of the Living Dead.
Or almost that like basket case that like no one's buying it. Let's give it away.
That's what happened. And that's the thing. If you watch It's a Wonderful Life, it's not filled with Christmas. It's only this weird Twilight Zone half of it that's really a Christmas movie. I mean, the rest of it is just average Frank Capra. Pretty much everything's in the summer. Everybody's wearing suits and ties. And
well, the movie was actually filmed during a heat wave. I know they developed a new kind of fake snow for this movie, so that they could actually capture dialogue on set.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to contribute a little to the professorial portion of this video. But we did cut off a few people in the live chat.
Sir.
I do want to give a shout out as well to our buddy Dustinino from Retrofiend Radio. Says, "What's up, everyone? The first time I saw it was on TV with the family, and then again every year after year, including this year. Miss you all. Merry Christmas to the entire VCR Redux crew."
Happy holidays, sir.
Merry Christmas, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. Merry Christmas. And again, if you guys aren't checking out Retrofiend Radio, I don't know what you're doing. They have the finest canon and martial arts documentaries on the internet. They're all available on YouTube for free. Get on that shit. It's amazing nostalgia, amazing comfort food. Also see Meg Klink still in the live chat. Stop with the crack about the gas station pizza. We're sorry,
you guys done ticked her off. Now you
all right, we're sorry, Mama Klink. I know you probably made nice, like, Tombstone, Red Baron, Jax, DiGiorno, whatever, really good stuff for Ian at home. I know, but he just couldn't be helped when he saw that one slice at the Gas 76 station. Gold's Cold also says Airborne should have been played on Christmas. I agree, because Airborne should be played 365 days a year. But getting back to,
is it? There's a world.
I'm due for a watch of it.
No, what I want is I want Clarence to show up and show me the world where Airborne was not a movie. And
we'd all be wiping our asses barehanded in this world. It would be terrible. Technology would be set back. There'd be no electricity. It would be terrible. I don't want to live in a world with no Airborne.
I'd look at Clarence and be like, sorry, buddy, you're not getting your wings, Like, this is the world I want to stay in.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Well, at any rate, my story with discovering It's a Wonderful Life is much like, many other people's, I guess. I had, the 5 channels growing up like everyone else did. And I, for some reason, I remember watching this one by myself. I think it was like the day before Christmas, and like I was the only, this is back in like the 80s, folks, and you could it was okay to leave like a 4 or 5-year-old kid home alone for like a couple of hours. And like I literally watched the movie like a few times. I guess it was more than a couple of hours, because it's a fucking long ass movie, and there was probably commercials, but
I don't know if it was ever okay. It was just
right.
it was just a thing.
It was okay for me because it was okay for me because the VCR was a very effective babysitter for me, and I knew how to work the TV, and like I wasn't gonna get in any mischief,
and you weren't gonna burn the house.
The worst
down.
thing that would happen is I would watch an R-rated movie, and honestly that would happen if my parents were in the room anyway, so it's like it didn't matter.
You know what's funny? Look, there's 4 of us still here. It worked.
It worked fine. Exactly. Yes. Raised on VHS, which is why I have it tattooed close to my heart.
Your kids are soft.
But
You're soft now.
yeah, I'm soft now with my Blu-rays, my Laserdisc. But ironically,
You don't
so
you don't have to rewind. You don't have to grab the butter knife and rewind
your kids today are soft. You lack discipline. um, so I actually did get the movie as a young, and I remember this was the first time probably that I had watched like an old black and white movie as a kid, and like really enjoyed it and followed it. And then they played it again like colorized, and then I started stuffing Cheetos down the fucking air conditioning vents because I was like, all right, this looks like a cartoon now. Like this is weird. I don't know what this
When
is,
did
but
they when did they colorize it?
mid-90s.
The 90s?
No, it had to
Well,
be the 80s.
No, it was
I'm talking like this
90s.
was gonna be 88 or 89, probably.
I thought Ted
Maybe
Turner
90.
did it. Well, it was Ted Turner who did it. I mean, I know that. So
Was it
have been
only
the
on
80s.
TNT?
Yeah, because Ted Turner hated watching black and white movies, and he's the one that started
Ah.
colorizing these movies. But that also
Didn't they
helped
also
with the whole-
colorize A Christmas Carol though?
Yeah, he did a lot of those. He did that Red River with John Wayne.
Miracle
Well,
on
anyway,
34th
I
Street?
mean, I was
Yeah, American. Well,
I was-
he did.
I was-
but part of that was when they colorized it helped with the copyright thing. Because
okay.
actually here's the thing.
It became a transformative.
Well, it's the version that we all grew up with is actually an abridged version. So if you watch the home video version or you watch on streaming, it's a 2-hour and 10-minute movie.
Yeah, I just watched it on
Right.
Prime the other day.
Yeah, the abridged version is actually 1 hour and 45 minutes. They cut out a lot of the Bedford Falls before the Twilight Zone thing. Like and they cut out like little exit scenes, a lot of the stuff with like Potter. I know like they cut out a lot of the school dance, a lot of that stuff. They they cut out they
That makes
trimmed down
sense.
the weird part, the one part they really trim is the part where Donna Reed and Jimmy Stewart are talking on the phone, and it's the whole
to Sam.
Yeah, they're talking to hee haw.
Yeah.
That part was edited a lot. Yeah, they edited that down because it was such a weird kind of awkward scene. So
that.
again, so it's this abridged version that's out there that's in the public domain.
Oh, okay.
But have you seen Tammy? Have you seen the abridged version?
Well, I know I've seen the 1 hour and 45 version for sure.
Yeah, it's very different.
I've seen 2 hours.
Yeah, I think there's less of like Nick the bartender or something.
So I could see that. It's
who is
weird. I mean,
who is the best part of this damn movie? I am sorry, but
the flip side when they flip.
Yes,
that's when he gets
Nick the dick.
All right, you two get on out of here. I'm gonna talk like this. Oh, I'm gonna give some wings. Here we go. That's the best voice. Best part of the movie.
Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
What? How dare you, sir? Mr. Potter up there.
Mr. Potter, good lord. He's
cool. Just trying to save a damn dime. Look, as I get older, I understand Potter.
He stole that $8,000. He stole the $8,000.
He sure did steal it. Yeah. Unapologetically too.
Did he go to jail?
And that's the thing about the movie is we never,
because nobody saw.
One thing I feel like if the movie was made today, you would see Potter get busted for that. You would see, and we just figured out, like we found the security footage. Mr. Potter stole the money. Like his employee would have like confessed and turned on him. But
it was his own bank, though. That's the problem, though. You could doctor those videos. I think his own. I think if it were done nowadays, his assistant or whatever like that would have grown a conscience. It would have been like, Mr. Potter has the money.
Yeah, but it's that's one of the things that just definitely, of many, I guess, in movies from the 40s, but it does hold up remarkably well. And I did, when I saw it, like again, I was a fucking toddler in the 80s, all hopped up on VHS tapes, so who knows how well I can really remember this, but I do remember getting the movie and liking it and following it, and then not really watching it again, because it became such a thing. Every year you'd sort of watch it, and like, even as a little kid, it became cliche. I got more into movies like Home Alone and other like holiday type of movies. But But then I watched it again when I was 17 on Laserdisc of all things in a film crit class that I was in. And I was like, I went on this whole Capra kick after that, and like watched Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and like Meet John Doe, and just became like this sort of like, wow, Capra's like what it's all about. And you get into all that stuff when you watch
You
film
got all
crit classes.
hipsterish.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say I got a little hipsterish, but it was certainly wasn't hip. In like the fucking suburbs of Illinois, there was I wasn't nobody was
Scorsese.
fucking
No,
nobody
you gotta
was
watch
fucking
this
impressed.
Capra guy.
Yeah, believe me, nobody was fucking impressed.
Spielberg, more like Schmielberg.
You went all Goodwill Hunting on everybody. You're like, yeah, oh yeah, Scorsese. You think Scorsese's good?
Oh man, well, I could say right now already that Ian is going to be very upset when he sees how much more airborne talk is in the live chat. We are almost at sequel.
People.
We are almost at sequel pitching time, but an interesting question I want to ask everyone in the live chat before we get there: do you consider this the greatest Christmas movie of all time? And if so, why? If not, why not? And if not, then what is your all-time favorite Christmas movie? Because for me, I will personally say that I do think it's probably the greatest Christmas movie of all time, but it's also more than that. Like it really is one of the greatest films ever made. It's just how else do you explain a movie that is almost 80 years old? It's got to be, it's damn near 75. Yeah, it's over 75 years old now. That still is held up in such high regard. That's like insane.
To be honest, I thought about this the other day, and I really did. I think part of it is how realistic it really is. I mean, we talked about like Potter. Like my students point that out a lot when we watch this. Like, if Potter didn't get busted, yeah, he didn't. But it didn't matter.
That is kind of real. I mean, you think about it, it is sort of like real life. Like people like Potter get away with fucking the worst kind of shit. They are
the early signs of tax evasion.
Well, this is the first. This is the first movie that both Jimmy Stewart and Frank Capra did after World War II.
Right.
Like they came back from overseas. This was the first movie they did, and there's you read a lot about film studies about this movie, and honestly, it's kind of dark.
It's dark. It's totally dark.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
but it's also realistic. I mean, he does not get out of that town. If you really think about it,
it's a depressing movie in this sense.
Yeah,
sacrificed so much. His family,
he did. Yeah,
his dreams.
Yep. He literally
a lot of people give up their dreams for their family. Put his brother through school, stayed at banking loans, didn't travel like he wanted. He didn't live his life for him. He lived it for other people.
The funny thing about it is he technically had committed suicide. Just doing everything he did there was committing. He committed suicide. Now he wanted to actually put it into play. So it's like literally like. I felt like at the bar, obviously Potter saying you're worth more dead than alive, was a part of that too. But I think when he reflected on his life, and when he went home and everything outside, when he reflected on his life, he literally said, well, I've already committed suicide. I might as well just kill myself. And then this banking loan that I've already sacrificed everything for can survive. My wife and kids could be okay. The whole town will be okay. Like it's not, I've nothing left to give to this town but myself. It's like it's taken everything from me. So it's really depressing. It's really like one of those small town kind of stories. Like if you've ever like lived in a dead end town, or you ever lived in a place where you just didn't want to be anymore, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
This movie is like right down. I mean, like you find, I find like you find movies when you're ready to find them, or when you're in the space to find them. And this is one of those movies that I came to later when I was just kind of like stuck in that kind of same mindset, or like that kind of like, oh, now I get it. It's like I didn't get it when I was younger, because obviously, you're younger. You think everything is bright and and everything's
Well,
good.
well, that's the whole point. I mean, his whole thing is getting out of this town. I think we all have that dream. We all have that dream. And I'll be honest, some of us reach that dreams, some of us don't. But what's interesting is how you get to that dream. You know,
Sometimes
I never thought I'd be a teacher. Never thought about it in my whole entire life when I was a kid. That was never the goal. That was never the dream. But as you get older, the way you find the pattern gets you to that point, you go, oh, well, I like that I got here. But it's kind of the same thing with Jimmy Stewart. George Bailey had, that's the whole point at the very end. It's like, you had a wonderful life. It's not what you thought it was going to be, but it is. And I love
life is something that happens when you're busy making other plans.
It's that. You know what it is? It's the Rolling Stones song. I believe in that more as an adult now than I ever did before listening to it. But you can't always get what you want, right? But sometimes you find out you get what you need. And I love, everybody always quotes the first part of that song, but they never quote the second part. And it's like George Bailey kind of lives that. You don't get out of the town of Bedford Falls, but look around and you've lived this great life in Bedford Falls. You've got this beautiful family. Good Lord, you got 1,700 kids, in the span of a montage.
I think when he met Mary,
you got Bert and Ernie.
When he met Mary is basically the end. I mean, that basically sealed him. Even back in the little shop when he was a kid, and she whispers in his ear or whatever the case may be, and he can't hear. But I almost feel like that it was predestined. So once he locked eyes with her, he knew his future.
I'm going to go with the blonde, though.
Violet.
I'm gonna go Violet.
Yeah.
No,
you have no soul, sir. You have no soul, and that is why you eat gas station pizza.
No,
sorry,
but she
Mama
does.
Klink.
No, but she does. I mean, that's the thing. It's like Frank Capra really made a realistic movie.
Yeah.
Like, these people are so real. Like Potter, I know Potters. People accuse me of being a Potter, but hey, you know what? Potter won. And he's probably he won all the way. But
did he win?
Yeah. He had his money. That's all he wanted.
You are bumming me out today, sir. Jeez.
I'm not bumming you out. I'm just
the Grinch stole your Christmas heart this year.
I don't think Potter won. I don't think Potter won. In my movie, Potter dies.
Hey, Potter died with every single one of his dollars. Let me tell you.
We could pitch that in the sequel, which we should start doing any sec now. But again, I want to catch up on the live chat. I see Sean Golden there reiterating that it is a time travel movie, which I totally agree. It's Wonderful Life is easily one of the great time travel movies, in addition to being one of the great Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I see Angie Saunders in the live chat, another mashup genius. Thank you so much for tuning in. Says Gold's Code says, "Wow, you're right about Copland." Oh, there's another bot in here, I guess someone says.
There's a bot?
Let's see. There's some bot, some airborne. Without Airborne, Ian would never have discovered the gas station pizza. Is what Gold's Code says. It says Airborne 2, Mitchell Goosen goes George Bailey, and we see what life was like if no one skated the Devil's Backbone. Started World War III. Oh God.
I would love that. I would love that.
Amazing. He says Chris wouldn't be wearing tropical shirts and Mickey wouldn't be successful. Let's see. A lot of just chit chat in the live chat here. It says the preps never humbled would get into government and begin a nuclear war. Mitchell saves the day and the world. Oh my God, I need all this. We've probably pitched more Airborne sequels than anything else just from the live chat here.
The worst movie ever made.
So Angie Saunders says for best Christmas movies, she would say White Christmas. That's interesting. Not Gold Code says Die Hard is the greatest Christmas movie ever. I would agree. It's pretty much Die Hard and It's a Wonderful Life. And I think that is going to inspire my pitches for the live chat, because it definitely inspired my stabs at titling this episode.
Mine is always
Yeah.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. That's one of my favorites of all time.
Talk about hipster. Knock it off.
How's
Also
that
some-
hipster? I was on the Emmett Otter train before the hipsters got to it.
Just stop it. Just stop it, Mick.
So-
Good gosh. Emmett Otter.
Also-
We all love that.
Also, a lot of love for Gremlins, Nightmare Before Christmas in the live
Yeah.
chat.
Great
Yeah.
stuff. Great stuff.
There's still a lot of chat about whether or not Die Hard isn't, a Christmas movie. Lethal
I
Weapon
love-
showing up in there, which I
Love
agree.
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah,
too.
Lethal
Love
Weapon is a Christmas movie as well.
I loved Can't Buy Me
Um,
Love is a great Christmas movie, technically, if you think about
I
it.
maintain to this day, Less Than Zero, also a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But so when it came time, so I'll kick off the sequel discussion now. And again,
Nothing says Christmas like depression and cocaine. Yes, Less Than Zero. Let's play that every Christmas season.
Well,
Good
this
luck.
movie
I
has
need it.
suicide.
It's not Christmas until Julian is puking his fucking guts out on Jamie Gertz's floor.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it's just not Christmas. It's just not
everybody's Christmas is different, Ian. Everybody's Christmas is
Yeah,
different.
some people
Hey.
need to see tinsel on the tree. I need to see the white crust on Iron Man's lips as he
Yeah.
fucking
Good
fiends for more
gosh.
cocaine. You just see him sweating profusely as he hits a crack pipe in a dance club in a 1980s Beverly Hills dance club.
And I need Patrick Dempsey falling asleep in a garage on the floor with a burlap
man.
sack,
It's more of a
covering
New
him.
Year's movie, wouldn't you say?
It is
though?
a New Year's movie, but it's a Christmas time movie. I watch it during Christmas time too.
Well, I could watch Can't Buy Me Love every day of my life and never get sick of it.
You do.
That's true. Any rate, so it is well past sequel pitching time. So again, everyone in the live chat, tell us your do's and your don'ts. What do you want to see in It's a Wonderful Life sequel? What don't
All right.
you want to see? Hit us with your pitches. Ian's already
All
ready
right.
to dive in, so get in there.
Look, I think it would be great. Because this is gonna be hard. We all know this.
This is gonna be the most. This is the most fucking ridiculous
absurd.
thing we've ever
Yeah,
tried
like-
to pitch in our lives. Because this is the
like-
most perfect movie. It does not need a
Tammy,
sequel at all.
I'm looking at you to save this, but not to put pressure on. But all I could think of was how cool would it have been to do It's a Wonderful Die Hard. All right,
See,
if
so
you'd
John
actually-
McClane could see what his life would be like if he was never
think
born.
about it, and think about it more, and you'd watch that movie. All right.
Yeah, I probably
Well,
would.
I'd watch that movie, but doesn't mean that it's like great. It's gonna be great.
Well, nothing we ever watch is great.
It's called It's a Wonderful Death or something.
I mean, like,
that's dumb.
You
Yeah.
like that kind of sequel would sully the original.
Oh, because how do you do a sequel to this without?
Because A Good Day to Die Hard was the Oscar-winning follow-up we all freaking wanted. Give me a break.
No,
baby.
I'm saying it would sully
Saying
It's a
it's
Wonderful
silly, It's a
Life.
Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Oh well, of course. I mean, this is like doing Raging Bull 2 with who was it? Have you guys seen that? The Bronx Bull. They did like a Raging Bull 2 with the guy William. I can't think of his name, but he
Or it's
was
like,
in
yeah.
Arizona and Deuce Bigelow.
Or like one of those De Palma spin-offs, like Carlito's Way, Rise to Power, or something.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like
The directed DVDs.
Yeah, exactly. Scarface 2.5, like, or something, whatever. I think there was a Scarface prequel or something.
I think there
But
was.
imagine getting John McClane, right? He's about to go into the Nakatomi Plaza, right? And you come in there, and it's freaking the dad from Family Matters,
Peter Griffin.
Reginald Bell Johnson.
Family Guy. Come on,
Winslow.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. He's the Clarence
Winslow.
character, right? Which
Oh,
now
he's John McClane's guardian angel? Fuck, take my money. All right.
or okay, either him or
You got
Sam
me
Jackson.
sold.
Either him or Sam Jackson, because I just want Sam Jackson to yell about angel wings. I just think it'd be genius.
Yeah, I think Winslow would be better though, because he was
Winslow would
actually
be
in
better.
them.
But he has to go and here's what would have happened if you didn't if you don't go save these characters. And now here's this movie is a 15-minute short, kind of like the half-hour things specials that they do, right?
Mhm.
You
The Die
interrupt
Hard Christmas special.
you interrupt Die Hard at a halfway point, and all of a sudden you play the special part, and it's right before he puts the computer down the elevator shaft. kind of thing.
It's a weird break point. I don't know. You had me until that. I mean, I thought you were gonna pitch like some Avengers Endgame kind of Die Hard thing where he's walking
Or
through time and all
or
the
when
different
he's
moments. Like he's at the
I
airport in
mean,
DC from 2. He's in New York City from 3. He's
oh,
in.
you could do
I
that.
think a sequel for me, if you had to do it, I mean, obviously the gimme is the kid. So George Bailey dies, and now the kid is like he
What,
has
Zuzu?
Zuzu is the girl, right? It's the
Yeah.
boy, the boy. One of the we're all the kids really, but now they're stuck in the town, and now they, are they going to be bank and loan at this time? I mean, who knows? What time it is when he dies, but it still could be a viable business, I guess, in some sort. But now, like, you mean, you have big money trying to come in there and get it, from them or whatever. But like, that's the gimme. The gimme could be like, how do they deal with it? Do they keep the bank and loan, or they just say like, no, I saw what my dad went through with this thing. I refuse to go through this because
They're gonna say I saw the whole community rally around my dad.
he could,
You know.
they could see that part too, but like George Bailey, like the one thing about this movie is like you never, I mean, he did see his dad like fighting with Potter, basically the one time, whatever case may be.
Stuck up for him.
Yeah,
Mm.
and he stuck up for him and everything else like that. But like, I don't think he ever saw his dad like how he turned out, how stressed out he was. I think George like stressed out double because of everything that he was going through as personally himself. Like he wanted to be away, he wanted to travel, he wanted to go to school, he wanted to all do this. So I think his kids, George will ultimately tell them like, you don't stick around here. You go to school, you go live your dreams, you go do what you got to do. And that's that. But George Bailey dies. And now the kids are left with this company now, or this bank.
So
And
when
now
you said this, like in the 60s or 70s or something, or
it's got to be 60s, 70s. So because it's still viable. Like, I mean, like if you said like, like the bank could still be viable. A loan,
Oh, you know what could be interesting of this? You know who could be the Clarence this time around? It actually could be Jimmy Stewart as George Bailey, because with all this deep fake stuff,
right.
yeah.
kind of how they did the Star Wars movie. I
Well,
want to see Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah,
I really do. Like, I love
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart. One of my favorite actors of all time is Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Which is also, I think, to answer your question, Chris, earlier, what makes this movie last? Honestly, it's Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's just his performance is just
Everything.
why. Like, this is one of those the Academy should be like, hey, we screwed up in 1945 or 1946. Here's the posthumous Oscar for Jimmy Stewart. We apologize.
Oh, totally.
Like kind of thing.
I mean, but there's so many of those. That's like every Oscar year.
Yeah.
There's just too many of those to
But
do.
imagine at the
they get it
very
wrong
end,
more than they get it right.
But imagine at the very end, it's George Bailey on the beach, somewhere exotic, and he's got his wings, but he's at the beach.
Oh, George Bailey in heaven would be in Hawaii or some exotic Bermuda.
Yeah.
He would be in Bermuda.
Europe somewhere.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
Exactly.
That would be cool. I'll give you that.
With the suitcase with all the different places he's now
and
visited.
that would be awesome to see that payoff. That like George Bailey gets his wings, he gets to travel, he is in Bermuda enjoying everything. And
all right, you don't get a pina colada. You just get right on out of this beach here now, sir.
Or they can do the Chris Rock down. They can do the Chris Rock down to earth, and George Bailey gets resurrected.
Oh my God, Mickey! There's 4 people in this world. 4 people that own the DVD of Down to Earth, and you just
that was a great movie.
Back to no,
it was a great movie.
Oh my gosh!
Come on. Down to Earth was a great movie.
I can't.
Ian's the only professor of film who hates movies.
That's not true.
I'm the only.
I know.
I'm the only one in this
Night,
panel.
Deadly Night 3.
There you go.
I like that one.
It's no toy maker.
I mean, I'm the only one in this panel that likes Down to Earth, the Chris Rock story.
I'm
Yes,
embarrassed to
Mickey.
say I actually
Yes,
haven't
Mickey.
seen. I
I
don't
don't
think I've seen
remember it.
Down
It's
to
like
Earth.
he
I
was
remember it.
bad or
Yeah.
something, right?
No,
Ah!
I don't
no,
remember it.
he was a comedian, and then he
Yeah,
died.
Yeah, he's like an old guy
and he got
resurrected
and he got
somehow.
resurrected in the Chris Rock's body.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's why it failed.
And he was an old white dude. He was an old white dude. He got resurrected as an old white dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's Hollywood for you.
So, I've thought about this, and
got classic scenes. Go ahead. No, I'm done. I'm done.
I was gonna
I
say,
love your idea, Mickey, about the kids. I can see young Tommy growing up so saying, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Just randomly.
To me, it's if it's gonna be about his kids, and I think it has to be about Zuzu, because I think for some reason there's something about Zuzu, like just even the name and the whole like honestly, my favorite reference to It's a Wonderful Life in another movie is in the movie The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. They have a character named Zuzu Pebbles instead of Zuzu's Petals.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Zuzu's Petals, but Zuzu Pebbles is the name of.
Only you would bring up Andrew Dice Clay at Christmas. You sick man.
That movie's first of all, that's a great fucking movie. It's not just Andrew Dice Clay. You got Robert
Killer
Englund there,
soundtrack.
Maddie Corman,
Killer soundtrack.
Rennie Harlan. That's the greatest like movie that never really got to happen.
Such a great soundtrack.
But of course, Ian hates it because Ian hates everything. Good lord.
That's not true. I like Christmas with the Cranks.
Well, last time I watched it, it didn't have Jason Statham.
What?
It didn't have Jason Statham in it, and I was very disappointed. I expected like a high-paced movie about crank and crime fighting, and it's not what happened at all.
Yeah, let's overcharge your heart while you're trying to put the Santa on, your Frosty on your roof. That's a good
I thought I was
gonna
get to see a Santa on meth or something really exciting and thrilling, and I didn't get to see any of that. So
that would have been great. That would have been great.
That would have been amazing.
But I mean, I think that that's the sequel that I could pitch. I could see it happen with the kids. And yeah, you're right. I could see Zuzu being the one because he kind of babied her the most. And I could see her being the one that's like, no, I gotta, like of the three kids, she's the one that says like, no, we got to keep daddy's bank open, this and that, whatever case may be. And
yeah,
maybe she sacrifices.
I could see Zuzu putting her other siblings through school and stuff, doing some of that stuff.
But she was the youngest though, so.
Yeah, right? But wasn't George? I mean, I guess he was older than
The oldest was the boy, right? There's one boy and two girls, right?
There's 4 kids.
No, it's two boys, 2 girls. Yeah, two boys, 2 girls. Yeah.
2 boys, 1 girl, 2 girls. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know, but that's the kids.
The one's in therapy because dad yelled at her playing the piano. She's crying her eyes out at 42. Like, let's be honest here.
Anytime she goes to the piano and tries to play that song, she's like, no, I can't. It's too tragic.
No way, because she played it that night and everyone sang along.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. He said, play that tune.
She became a fucking world touring concert pianist and like never had to she got to travel the world the way that he always wanted to.
And her teacher forgave George for saying mean things to her.
Well, I don't know. Her husband punched him out, so
exactly. He got banned. He got banned from Martini.
Hey,
so that's true.
As a teacher,
I think Giuseppe's the best character. Yeah, no, Martinis. You're right.
Martinis. That's right.
As a teacher, I understand that husband had every right to defend his wife. All right, like your kids are brats.
I like how he says you're stupid kids. You're stupid kids.
Oh man, but when it came time to picking a title for this episode, I really thought like, okay, we can't take ourselves too seriously here because this is just like almost too good to try and like touch. You're not going to get anywhere near.
But there is scripts out there for It's a Wonderful Life too. Studios have scripts that people wrote for this movie.
That's why like when it came time to like picking a our classic subtitle, I really wanted to go with something that's kind of like in jest, something like It's a Wonderful Life 2, Money Never Sleeps, or It's a Wonderful Life 2, Mission to Moscow, or what, just something like ridiculous that like you wouldn't expect. But I guess we went out with Annihilation. I couldn't think of a worse sequel than Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That like, so, but if you think about all these are all obviously versions of It's a Wonderful Life. We're probably glad we didn't get, although I would kind of love to see some of them, honestly, even those really bad
but
versions. Like,
like It's
I
a
always want
Wonderful
to peek
Life.
into the multiverse where these other things exist. What's up?
It's City of Angels is basically It's a Wonderful Life as well.
In
a way.
I don't know if I can sign off on that, but honestly, I haven't seen City of Angels since like 1998. So what the fuck do I know?
Neither has the rest of the world.
I was all hopped up on VHS tapes back then.
I was drinking Surge Cola and eating cheese curds and watching City of Angels.
Surge Cola. Jolt Cola was still around for me.
Jolt Cola.
Jolt.
I think I had like one Jolt in 1994, and I haven't really slept well since. To say the truth, but yeah, I mean, it is impossible. I mean, especially if you flash forward it to like today, like I feel like that's just like an absolute do not. Like, you could not do like 2022. It's George Bailey's like great grandkids. That would just be ridiculous.
No, it would be a remake nowadays. If it was done now, it would be a remake.
Oh, it's sad to think of, but it should be a legacy sequel. They should. I'm honestly, the Christmas Story charted out like a pretty good path for their sequel, where like, all right, we're coming in like what it was like from the 40s to the 70s or something like that. I feel like you could make like a similar time jump where it's like maybe 20, maybe 30 years max.
Ooh, James Marsden. I would like James Marsden, whatever the lead for this remake, or George Bailey Jr. or whoever. I would like him in that.
I mean,
I like James Marsden.
He'd be great. I like James Marsden. I like Chris Evans too. Chris Evans would be great.
Let's just cast all the X-Men and Marvel actors.
John Krasinski.
Not to derail
Mr. Fantastic now.
Not to derail us too much, but did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that thing that Quentin Tarantino said? He goes, Marvel stars aren't real movie stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about this. Well, something Quentin Tarantino said recently. He's like, oh yeah, they're not movie stars. Like, I don't even know the full quote, so I'm not gonna try and guess what it was. But
he's in that Scorsese, disciple category, and Scorsese's basically said that comic book movies are like, they're not real too. They're not good as well.
Scorsese like Borscazy.
So I mean, like, obviously he's gonna say that. I mean, but like you can't. I mean, like I often feel like it's like, bro. I mean, like Robert Downey Jr. basically that was his comeback, and I'm thankful that he played Iron Man, because not only was he a great Iron Man, but it brought back Robert Downey Jr., a great actor that was, obviously he had his problems and this and that, and suffered for that. But like, if it were not for Marvel movies giving these actors a chance, you wouldn't get these guys like on the big platforms now. So you can't say that. I hate that. And I love Quentin Tarantino, but like, as I, read this whole thing and everything else like that, I'm like, stop, Quentin. I'm like, now you're getting to the point where it's like, you're becoming that get off my lawn guy. I'm like,
Speaking of get off the lawn,
I can see where you're coming from with that, but it is an interesting point, because before I even made up my own mind on it, I started asking other people. I was like, could you name 3 Chris Evans movies that aren't like superhero movies? And like most people couldn't. Could you name 3 Chris Hemsworth movies that aren't? And like, I think these guys are great actors, but it's like it opened up sort of an interesting like mental debate for me. I don't know. I just was curious what you guys, when anyone in the live chat, thought about that. But I do want to read some more pitches that are in the live chat. Speaking of the live chat. So I see Gold's Coat's got one. Potter uses the money to fund the Harry Potter franchise.
Yeah.
Now George must decide if his family's happiness is worth the happiness of millions of people. He must make the ultimate choice.
Instead of Bailey Park, it's Potter World. Like
I maintain that Potter's Pottersville is just Biff horrific from Back to the Future 2.
He's
I
just
still
trying
mean-
to save a buck, people. Why is that? Why is he the villain? I'm just saying.
And didn't it not look like he had like prosthetics on him?
Who?
The actor that played George Potter.
Oh
Or-
yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
think
Potter,
he did
rather.
have some kind of or whatever
Who-
hair and makeup sort of thing going on.
Who Dick Cheney?
Yeah, it looked like him, right?
Gold's Code has a great point to your Die Hard pitch, Ian. He says Argyle should be the angel, and I absolutely agree. In fact, Argyle
yeah.
always was the guardian angel, and we did not realize it until right fucking now in Die Hard. Holy shit, that's true. Who else would stay in a building for like an entire shift's worth like that? He had to be in there for at least 8 hours. Like the building's blowing up around him, and like he's still like, you know what? Give this guy a ride at the end.
Only if he's got the giant stuffed bear next to him.
And it's just, I think it was like, wasn't his first day or something?
It was his
Yeah.
first day. It was his first day.
Man, Argyle is the fucking guardian angel. Holy
He
shit.
didn't want to lose his job. He didn't want to lose
That's
his
where
job.
that's why the series never recovered. They never had Argyle back. God damn it. We just cracked the code to Die Hard. I'm glad we do these VCRs and we go off topic here. But there are pitches in here. I'm sorry, like It's a Wonderful Life 2, Electric Boogaloo, which I'm all for. But there's also let's see. Another I already read that one. My apologies. There's a lot of love for French Stewart in the chat tonight. I think we were talking about him last week, and it's carried over today. Dustin Nino from Retrofiend says pitch is just to combine It's a Wonderful Life, A Christmas Carol, and Tenet.
That's the It's a Wonderful Life sequel we need with French Stewart. You know, it's just not right. Potter's evil.
And to annotate, Dustin Nino says, and by Christmas Carol I mean Muppet Christmas Carol.
I love me some Muppets. Even Mickey's Christmas Carol is good too, but I love me some Muppets Christmas Carol.
I hope you're referring to
of...
Disney, but I actually hope you actually filmed yourself, Mickey, as like Scrooge, like in your home during COVID. You just did like a whole like Christmas Carol of yourself.
Yeah, I would love that. I could do that. I could do that.
To Gold's Code's point about It's a Wonderful Life 2 Electric Boogaloo, Dustin Nino says Sam Furstenberg would totally do it too, which he knows Sam pretty well. So I feel like if he says that, it's got to be true. And god damn it, that would be a Christmas miracle. I would just have to take my money. Yeah. Oh fuck, that would be really good. Oh, we could still have a turbo Christmas though. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We need it. Get Lucinda Dickey on the horn. Gold Skull also has one more pitch in here. It says George Bailey's grandkids are on hard times, and through a vision, they visit the original town and characters to see the events of the first movie from a different angle. That's actually pretty fucking interesting now that I think about it.
It could be a road trip. Could be a road trip. Like they're going like now.
No, they have guardian angels, and like they need to be shown like maybe like he has a kid who's like the opposite of George Bailey. Who's like a total gruff, Grinch, like a Scrooge, type of character. And like you need to be shown like what your dad went through to, have a heart again and make the right choice and save the day for all these other people.
Could angels just protect this town? I mean, could that be like a thing? Like there could be like angels protecting this town and just making sure that George Bailey's legacy on the town is preserved.
I think that they are, and eventually they changed the name of the town to Angel Grove, and that's how the Power Rangers got started. Boom! It's a crossover event you didn't know you needed. Oh shit! Well,
fucking.
Is there anything else? I mean, pitch wise, if we, I don't know, is there
no one more said ridiculous? It's a wonderful day to whoop Potter's ass. Nobody want to see him hurt.
Right? That's. I kind of thought about that too. Like, what if you took it and you focused on Potter, but like he gets his
comeuppance? He ain't dead.
Let the man make money. Capitalism
he needs to get busted for his crime.
Ass whooped.
I think what happens is
his assistant like just dumps him down a flight of stairs on the.
There was
I do remember on the wheelchair.
I think what happens to Potter is he runs out of money, and he's distraught, and he's in a 76 station, and he has to borrow change to get a slice of gas station pizza, and he gets infected with like amoebic dysentery and he dies. I think that's
My
what happens to
mom
Potter.
will drive up to your house and will knock on your
You
door.
literally like you're gonna be in a bar, a restaurant
Oh my
somewhere, and
gosh.
you're gonna say something about gas station pizza, and somebody's gonna say like, Chris, what did you
Please
say about
smack.
that? And she's gonna get up out of the seat. She's like, wait a minute, Chris, are you Chris Stiles? VCR?
The goofy ass
Yeah,
Hawaiian shirt
why?
guy, you're going
Look.
down.
Boom.
Look. You guys fear Potter. Look, I grew up with this lady. All right, don't mess with her. Love you, mom. But no, you know, I think it's kind of right though. Tammy's you raise a good point though. The whole Potter thing is they actually did have studio notes that they said they wanted to have Potter
Arrested?
busted,
Yeah.
but again, it was the whole Frank Capra saying that's not real. It was Frank Capra who decided to stick with the no Potter gets away with it because he said at the
Ooh.
very end the town saved the day anyways.
Right.
So
It didn't matter.
doesn't matter.
You
It didn't
need
matter,
that.
yeah. You know, so
Interesting.
it's actually, but again, I think that had something to do with the fact that they came back from World War II, and it was just a different perspective. It was a different, you know, like oh no, the people with the money are going to win sometimes.
But the
In
town
their
could have
eyes.
rolled his
Gosh.
ass to the Bailey's house to see everybody
But don't you
giving
think
him
they
all the
did?
love, kind of like Christmas Vacation when they drove the boss over there.
Well, I also think if the movie continued, I think people started going more and more to, and they even said that the guy even says it too. He's like, hey, if you don't take care of Bailey, these houses that are developing are already twice as much as worth, you know, than what they cost to build.
Yeah.
So you continue the story. George Bailey basically became a millionaire when he
And
sells Bailey Park.
He's a realtor. He's a millionaire. He's a loan.
You know, just throwing another wrench in the spokes here as we attempt to close up this episode. It occurred to me that I would also love to see a Charles Bronson version of It's a Wonderful Life. Like somehow, like it's the Death Wish like 19, you know, it's like it's a wonderful death wish or something. I don't know how you do it. Life
Take
wish.
my money
Like,
now.
Just you
I'm
get
with
to
you
see
on
what
this
would
one.
happen if he never just started fucking shooting rocket launchers in
Oh
like
my
heavily
God.
populated cities and shit. Like
Oh,
that.
and we can't have
I think,
we can't have Charles Bronson because obviously he's not with us anymore.
but we could digitally bring him
we
back
could
too.
have Clint Eastwood.
That's not bad.
The world is like even the world. No, I will in that movie.
Only if his guardian
That's what
angel
I
is
want.
played by an empty chair, though. That's the only way I'm in. That was my fucking most ridiculous Clint Eastwood moment. If you don't know, just know that this man picked a fight with an empty chair and lost. And it was one of the fucking greatest things that's ever happened. And I still love Clint Eastwood, but oh man, he definitely turned into the get off my lawn guy when there's no one in his yard. Which is incredible. But at any rate, there's one more pitch in the live chat, and it's a great one to close on. Angie Saunders, again, the mashup genius, says It's a Wonderful Life with Medea. And man, that's maybe even better than my Charles Bronson one. Like,
really?
yeah.
Shut up and take
Yeah.
my yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Angie Saunders, you win the VCR of the day award.
It's a wonderful Medea. I am in. Because I just watched the
I'm
Medea
down,
Christmas yesterday, so I'm in for this. I'm in for this.
I'm definitely game for that.
Let's wrap this up now.
All right, so before we do,
I hate
guys,
you,
is
Mickey.
there
go watch
anything
Down
you...
to go watch Down to Earth, you God.
I will. It's a way better
I
movie
will. I'm gonna watch it.
than any Medea movie.
All right, is there
fighting words now.
Before we close out, is there anything you guys have got coming up at the works you want to let people know about? Any even just where to follow you guys on social media, things like that?
Yes, please follow me at Tammy Reese Media on Instagram and Twitter. I'm getting ready to cover Sundance Film Festival next month.
Oh wow.
My gosh, I need all the deets. Yeah, Tammy has literally covered like some incredible stuff, like interviewed so many people that just it would be impossible to name them all, but like believe me, your jaw would have hit the floor about 75,000 times if I tried. So definitely follow her and you will not regret that. Mickey, Ian, anything? Well, Ian, you got an article out, right? I believe Silent
Uh,
Night. Right?
Yes, pretty soon here, they will be posting the B movie challenge for article review on Silent Night, Deadly Night,
Deadly
Part
Nart.
Deadly Nart.
Mm.
Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5, The Toy Maker, which is the best in the entire series. Right?
Nart
You
for
can
the garbage.
You can skip 1 through 4, but you better watch
No.
5.
No, you need fucking 2 as well. You really do.
2
need
is
2.
good. 2 is
You know,
good.
Two's garbage day. Yeah.
You just that's all the part you need to watch. You don't need to watch anything else. Just watch the garbage day clip on YouTube. But
Well,
5, you got to watch everything. Right? That's better than It's a Wonderful Life. I
if you need further confirmation that Mickey Rooney has no soul, the world gives you Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker.
He's a potter. He's sold out. He got that money.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
smart.
Yeah, well, Mr. Grumpy Ian today is bumming me out with all his crony capitalist buddies here, toasting them for a cigar shop at Christmas.
What'd you call me? A frigid old man? Don't no.
Mickey, I know I saw footage of you laying down some tasty riffs in studio. Are we closer to a Rick Barth in the Line release?
Closer. I think it's still gonna like be in the January, February time when we actually wrap it up and stuff like that. But on
Jesus, like Bulls fans waiting for Lonzo Ball's rehab. This is just getting longer and longer, like an inch closer, an inch closer.
All my parts.
We want to see some action.
All my parts are done, so I'm done. So
all right,
check this rip. It's effing tasty.
All right, guys. Well, in the meantime, you Fandom fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. and we hook up our VCR in a very uncomfortable place for our Mallrats episode. As always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover in a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, the Hollow 9 Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.